Freeman Hospital announces it has COVID-19 booster shots available for eligible four-staters. And COVID-19 symptoms can hit hard, but when should you head to the hospital? We'll get the answer from the experts.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Freeman Hospital announced today that it's ready to administer COVID-19 vaccine booster shots to those who qualify. This is KOAM News at 10. The hospital will administer single-dose booster shots of the Pfizer vaccine at its drive-through clinics to those who schedule appointments. Freeman's infection prevention and control manager says that right now the shots are available only for the immunocompromised and others with specific medical conditions. But according to the CDC, starting September 20th, members of the general public who received a Moderna or Pfizer coronavirus vaccine can receive a corresponding booster shot as long as it happens at least 8 months from their second dose. Freeman has the Pfizer vaccine, but pharmacies like Stone's Corner and Webb City have both.
We've been able to start those booster doses, and they just need to be 28 days past their second dose for those that are eligible, and we'd be happy to help.
Freeman Hospital says their booster shots will be offered free of charge. The Jasper County Health Department is reporting 4 COVID-19 deaths. The patients were 2 men, one in his 50s, the other in his 70s, and 2 women, one in her 20s, the other in her 50s. The latest deaths bring the county's total to 190. A tsunami of patients. That's how one doctor described the rush of people coming into his downtown Atlanta, Georgia emergency room during the current COVID-19 surge. It's a problem frontline healthcare workers are seeing across the U.S. To help with overcrowding, doctors want you to know when to go to the emergency room and when to stay home and call your doctor. Mandy Gaither has more.
Busting at the seams, hospitals across the U.S.
It's not a pleasant thing as a medical care provider to have to put patients in a tent.
From Mississippi to Texas, a surge in patients as COVID-19 cases continue to climb, driven by the Delta variant.
Our emergency room, like so many, are overrun right now.
In Georgia, the emergency department at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is not only dealing with COVID-19, but patients with other respiratory viruses as well. To help with overcrowding, doctors say know when to go to the ER. Get emergency help if the patient has trouble breathing, difficulty keeping down fluids, changes in alertness or unusual trouble waking up, bluish lips or face, or persistent chest pain or pressure. However, they say stay home and get in touch with a doctor for a low-grade fever, fatigue, cough, congestion, or sore throat.
We've worked to manage the volumes, but a continued rise in numbers will continue to push our capabilities.
Frontline healthcare workers across the U.S. continue to urge vaccination, saying it's the best way to lower risk of hospitalization and death.
I watched a 28-year-old previously healthy unvaccinated patient die from COVID complications. And while we value every life, that one was tough because it could have been prevented.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Health officials in southern Oregon say that due to an influx of new COVID-19 cases there, patients are being treated in hallways because they don't have enough space. More nursing homes want COVID-19 vaccines for residents and staff. The U.S. Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services says there's been a recent uptick in requests for vaccine access. In the first week of August, about 150 nursing homes requested government assistance. Nationally, about 60% of nursing home staff and 83% of residents are fully vaccinated. On Wednesday, President Biden said nursing homes must have vaccination requirements in order to continue receiving Medicare and Medicaid funding. Beautiful day, warm, a little muggy, but that could change. Nick Kelly joining us.
In fact, it's still likely to change as we go deep into the overnight ahead of us, Chris. For now, though, late on this Friday night, still looking okay from 7th and Rangeline, but the numbers tell a hot and humid start to the weekend. 74 this morning and topping out at 92. That's despite some morning rain and storms that plowed through parts of Joplin and southwestern Missouri. We've kept the radar mainly dry for much of this evening. However, this line of thunderstorms that developed out in central Kansas and starting to work toward the turnpike, that is our next cold front. That will be a big role in the forecast, not only for this weekend, but certainly for tonight. As the storms out west roll in, though, they should be on a weakening trend, so I'm not too concerned about any severe weather, but it could certainly be a loud night for some. But these rain chances will force lows to drop back to 73. Depending on how worked over we get during the morning, Chris, I can't rule out maybe a stray storm tomorrow, but we stay hot and humid with highs near 90. We'll dive deeper into the rest of the forecast here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. A Delaware County woman gets a 20-year sentence for recording the drug overdose death of another woman. Allie Anderson, charged with first-degree murder in the victim's death, will serve less than 3 years of her 20-year sentence. The judge suspended 17 years of her sentence, then gave her credit for time served. Anderson and her husband, Brian Anderson, were arrested in 2019 for Melissa Vermillion's death. Police say they injected Vermillion with meth, recorded her while she overdosed, and ignored her calls for help as she was dying. Brian Anderson died in jail last year. Fort Scott Community College announces a player who collapsed during practice on August 4th has died. In a Facebook post, a representative from the community college said they send all of their prayers, love, and support to the family of Tyrell Williams. They also say the school will do anything they can to support the Williams family. As desperation grows outside the Kabul airport, President Biden says the U.S. is focused on one mission, getting tens of thousands of Americans and Afghan allies to safety. Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
As desperate evacuees show their passports to get through security at Kabul's airport, President Biden on Friday made this promise.
But let me be clear. Any American who wants to come home, we will get you home.
He also said the U.S. is committed to helping Afghan allies evacuate, but was less clear about a timeline and whether it would be extended beyond the August 31st deadline.
I cannot promise what the final outcome will be, or what it will be, that it will be without risk of loss.
Making prepared remarks for a second time this week, President Biden again defended his handling of the crisis erupting after the Taliban rapidly took over.
The consensus opinion was that, in fact, it would not occur, if it occurred, until later in the year. So it was my decision.
We have Americans and our allies all over the country in great danger right now. So that's the number one priority. But over the long term, it's all that weaponry that's now in the hands of the worst of the worst.
Members of Congress were briefed Friday about the evacuation efforts and reports of chaos on the ground. CBS News has learned Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told lawmakers the Taliban has beaten some Americans in Kabul, calling it unacceptable.
We made clear to the Taliban that any attack on our forces or disruption of our operations at the airport will be met with swift and forceful response.
President Biden said the U.S. is watching for any potential terrorist threat in or around the airport. That includes ISIS affiliates who are among thousands of prisoners the Taliban freed during its takeover. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
The Biden administration is working to open new processing facilities in the region, including in Bahrain and Uzbekistan, with several European countries also lending a hand. Earlier Friday, the U.S.-led evacuation was temporarily paused after a U.S. airbase in Doha, Qatar, reached capacity. Well, 2 people are dead as a result of flooding in Gila Bend, Arizona Saturday. Another 30 had to be rescued, many from rooftops, according to Gila Bend Mayor Chris Riggs. The city declared a state of emergency Saturday after flash flooding ravaged the valley overnight. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Department says search and rescue operations are still underway. Parts of the area measured 2 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. The Arizona Department of Transportation says State Road 238, which connects Gila Bend to Maricopa, is completely closed because of high water. A single-engine airplane crashed soon after takeoff at the Anson County Airport in North Carolina this morning, killing both people on board. North Carolina Highway Patrol reports it appeared that the Piper PA-24 aircraft had engine trouble as it went down in a wooded area. Troopers say the plane immediately caught fire upon impact. Names of the pilot and passenger have not been released. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the accident. Well, still ahead, T-Mobile says a breach of customer records is worse than previously thought. And for the first time this season, Missouri high school football teams get to test their skills against actual opponents at Jamboree. T-Mobile confirms 5.3 million more customers had their data stolen. That's in addition to the 7.8 million subscribers impacted in a hack several days ago. Information for more than 40 million people who applied for credit with T-Mobile was also compromised, as well as 850,000 prepaid customers. The company says device information numbers, which can be used to track users, were stolen for some subscribers. It's also possible names, phone numbers, social security numbers, and driver's license information were included in the hack. T-Mobile says no credit card or other financial information appears to have been stolen. Elon Musk says Tesla is creating a humanoid robot. He says it'll have a screen where a person's face would be, and it'll perform boring, repetitive, and dangerous work. Musk says a prototype could be available next year. Building a humanoid robot has proven difficult, and Musk has a history of overpromising. If you've been waiting for a right time to buy a new Tesla car, well, you're probably going to have to wait even longer. Estimated delivery times on Tesla's website for most models have been pushed back until later this year, and in some cases next year. The only exceptions are the upper-end versions of the Model 3 sedan and Model Y SUV. American Airlines passengers who travel in economy class won't be able to buy alcoholic beverages on board until at least January. This week, the airline notified its flight attendants it won't be resuming in-flight alcohol sales until January 18th. The federal mask mandate for public transportation was recently extended to that date. American had planned to resume alcohol sales this September, as many other airlines have already done, but high-profile incidents involving unruly passengers resulted in the airline postponing its plans. American still serves alcohol in first class. Later, Joplin hosts Webb City, Lamar, and Seneca for its football jamboree.
Well, my main focus for the weather segment coming up will be the storms for tonight and the hot and humid days lined up. We'll get to the forecast next. Like I said before the break, my main focus for the next 3 minutes or so will be on the hot and humid days lined up and the thunderstorm chances eager to roll back in as we go through the overnight. So we start, as always, with an interesting time lapse from Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri. I think this area dodged some of the scattered morning thunderstorms on the Missouri side, especially along and south of I-44. But after a relatively quiet day, save for maybe a couple of showers near the Kansas-Oklahoma line early this afternoon and a random storm or two earlier this evening, the main focus, pretty obvious, isn't it? All these thunderstorms north and west of the region, but any good severe threats still, I think, will definitely hold up to the north near Topeka, Kansas City, up toward the Missouri-Iowa border. Even though there's not anything around the area right now, I have been watching the tail end of this line of thunderstorms, right now prompting severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of Butler and Sedgwick counties. It's certainly getting close to the Wichita area, but this has been on a downward weakening trend, but still, all these storms will have to march on through in some form or fashion as we go through the overnight. But right now, we're still looking okay in Joplin, 84 degrees. South wind at 10, though, keeping that dew point at 75, so no wonder it still feels like 92, even late on this Friday night. Most of us are still in the 80s, maybe it's lone 79 in Milnet, but most of us between 80 and maybe 86 or 87 at the warmest. But this humidity still making it feel like the mid and even upper 90s, again, even at this point late in the night. At the very least, this is certainly right there for these thunderstorms to work with. And I don't think they'll maintain their severity as they roll on in, but they'll certainly keep these storms going as we go throughout the course of the night. All ahead of our cold front that is arriving on schedule, but as advertised, it's not going to push on through, because even though this upper low will try to push the front through and keep any, thankfully, better severe weather chances to the north, note the blue H near the Gulf of Mexico. That's the upper ridge that will start to build in, and that's ultimately going to win out. Let me show you why on the future track forecast here. Overnight, those storms north and west of the Turnpike will start rolling in, but as they do, generally on the weakening trend. You can't rule out some strong storms, sure, with some wind gusts from between 30 and 50 miles per hour, maybe some small hail, but certainly heavy rainfall and plenty of lightning with these as overnight lows drop off to 73. The rain chances taper off during the morning hours. I think we're dry to start the afternoon out, but depending on how these morning rain chances play out, I'm not going to rule out maybe a random storm or two tomorrow afternoon. I still don't think it scrubs out the heat though, unfortunately. 73 in the morning, 85 by noon, afternoon highs right around 90 degrees. Just from tonight's rain alone, we could easily see rain amounts on the low end, maybe a tenth of an inch or two, to as much as 1 to perhaps 2 inches of rain, depending on how all the heavy rain plays out and passes through. But here's Sunday. This upper ridge really gains steam, pushes that front back to the north, so maybe a couple of storms on Sunday during the morning, but this ultimately keeps us dry for Sunday afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe a couple of storms by Thursday and Friday, but that upper ridge, boys, are going to really make it feel like August around here for the next several days. Let's go 90 tomorrow, 92 Sunday, 96 on Monday, and highs pushing as hot as 97 for Tuesday and Wednesday, Chris. And with plenty of humidity on the way too, it's definitely going to make it feel like the triple digits for each of those afternoons.
Break out your ponchos, but keep your swimwear handy because it's going to get hot again.
Indeed it will.
Nick, thank you so much. Jesse James Day is in full swing. Some of you know the 1938 movie Jesse James was filmed in and around Pineville, Missouri. Jesse James Day celebrates that time in Hollywood and local history. The festival includes fun games, food, music. Jesse James Days goes on until tomorrow. You can check out Jesse James Days on Facebook for more information. Money raised goes to support the Pineville Fire Department. Nevada, Missouri businesses, civic organizations, and churches got a chance to connect with students at Cotty College today. It was Cotty's community picnic and partner fair. It provides the opportunity for local businesses and organizations to recruit Cotty College students for volunteer opportunities, service learning projects, local internships, and undergraduate research.
Most important is the welcome that they're providing to our students, making them feel at home. And then the families that are here tonight with the students, they also get a nice, warm, and secure feeling about the community that they are leaving their daughter in.
Participation in the fair is free to any business, church, or civic organization in Vernon County. Well, coming up in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs play their second game of the preseason. We'll have an update. Plus, the Joplin Eagles host a jamboree with Webb City, Lamar, and Seneca. Jacob Leonard joins us with the highlights next.
The football season is just a week away for Missouri high school teams. Tonight, though, it's jamboree night, including Joplin hosting a four-teamer with Webb City, Lamar, and Seneca. A lot of good stuff here tonight. Here's some of the best of what we saw. First session, first offensive play for Webb City. Cade Wilson gets loose all the way into the end zone. Now the Lamar defense forced 3 turnovers against Webb, including this pick here from Riley Heckedon. But Webb City back to work. Cole Vaden finds Eric Fitch over the middle. Fitch slides in for the touchdown. Now other side of the field, Joplin and Seneca. Eagles defense makes a play early. Luke Wieselmeyer getting the interception in the end zone. Eagles on offense now here. Quentin Renfro finds his way into the end zone. Joplin scores 5 times on the Indians. Second session now, Joplin facing Lamar. Lamar's Trace Wilhite scores on the last play for the Tigers starters on offense. The Lamar defense still rolling. Austin Wilkerson getting the interception, going the other way for the Tigers. The other end of the field, once again, Webb City scores on the first play. Dupree Jackson against the Seneca D. That's all we have time to show here, but you can check out full highlights from tonight on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. The Galena Bulldogs are wrapping up their first week of fall practice. Now, Galena is and has been one of the most consistent programs in the area, averaging 8 wins per season in the last 5 years. Now, the Bulldogs, of course, known for being a physical run-first team, and they'll still do all of that in 2021, but Galena does plan on opening up the playbook and getting the pass game going a little more, with senior quarterback Brett Sarwinski under center leading the way.
Anytime you have a quarterback that can throw it, you especially throw it deep, you want to take those opportunities when they come. And so, that's something that, we have to kind of change our mindset just a little bit and say, hey, you know what, we're going to throw the football a little bit.
Well, we're just changing it up a little bit, throwing teams off, trying to find the best way we can to win the game. So if it means running the ball, we'll run the ball. If we got to pass the ball, we'll throw the ball. Either way is fine with me.
Galena opens the season on September 3rd at home against Anderson County. NFL preseason action tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. That one just went final. Chiefs win it by a touchdown. Check it out. Former NEO running back Darwin Thompson. Nice evening for the former Norseman, finishing with 8 carries for 49 yards. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Captain Kirk Duncan served in the Army from 2003 to 2010, his hometown, Pittsburgh. We're proud to recognize Captain Kirk Duncan, tonight's four-state hero. And to learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own, just head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. It has been muggy, it has been humid, and it's going to be rainy, and then I guess we kind of rinse, wash, repeat. Wash, rinse, you know what I'm
at
saying.
least for the rest of the week, and all this mugginess will certainly allow those thunderstorms out west to continue our way throughout the overnight. Again, nothing severe, it's just going to be a loud night, unfortunately, for some of you, but we'll still keep an eye on things. Well, still, they'll top out around 90 tomorrow, 92 on Sunday with maybe a few isolated storms. And just downright miserable Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with highs pushing 97.
It looks very, very unpleasant. Jacob Leonard, final note in sports.
Stick with us this weekend. We're going to continue our Kansas high school football previews with Colgan tomorrow, then Baxter Springs on Sunday.
There's a lot of excitement with Friday night football. I'm ready for it.
Mostly
I know
me, man. Yeah, I'm tired of talking about it. I'm ready to get to it.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. That's our time for now. We're going to leave you tonight with a look at tonight's Monster Truck Show in Lamar, Missouri. We will see you tomorrow. Let's get out there and make it a great one.